Hi there. Now we're going to do lesson 49. God's voice speaks to me all through the day. God's voice speaks to me all through the day. We got to get used to that voice is always there, always, always, always available to us. Paragraph 1. It is quite possible to listen to God's voice all through the day without interrupting your regular activities in any way. The part of your mind in which truth abides is in a constant communication with God, whether you are aware of it or not. It is the other part of your mind that functions in the world and obeys the world's laws. It is this part that is constantly distracted, disorganized, and highly uncertain. So the ego is always blocking the voice of God that wants to move through you, that wants to register with you. Little children are moved by something. What do you think is that activity, that imagination, that thing that moves them to do things, to grab their toes and suck them, to go reach for the toy, to start scooting and moving and crawling and walking and then wanting to ride a bike? What is that thing that moves them to want to do all of these things? Well, it's God propelling them, because they don't have the voices of the ego that have them all uncertain and anxious and worried. Parents teach that. Paragraph 2. The part that is listening to the voice for God is calm, always at rest and wholly certain. The part that is listening to the voice for God is calm, always at rest and wholly certain. It is really the only part that there is. It truly is the only voice, the only knowingness that there is. The other part is a wild illusion, frantic and distraught, but without reality of any kind. Because once you stop believing the ego, once you stop paying attention to those thoughts, they dissolve. They have to, because they're not real. They're made up in your mind because you learned it from somebody else, who learned it from somebody else, who learned it from somebody else. And as we become the change, as we begin to clean up our own thinking, those thoughts dissolve. Those fears begin to little by little go away. Now, this is a journey that takes time, appears to take time. But it starts with a decision to stop believing fears, because you're going to start believing God. Paragraph 2 still, sentence number 4. Try today not to listen to it, to the ego. Sentence 5. Try to identify with a part of your mind where stillness and peace reign forever. Stillness and peace reign supreme inside of us. That's what God does. Sits inside of us, giving us guidance, giving us information, that if we listen to it, it tells us exactly where to go, what to do, where the door is open. Why? Because if God wants to go through that door, God's going to make sure the door is open. This is a creator of universes of universes. Who's going to block God if God's the one who creates everything? Our ego blocks it by saying, oops, I'm going to go this way. I want to do it my way. And God is saying, but the path is so easy this way. It's going to be fun that way. I've made it easy for you. Well, no, I know better, because last time I went through this path. Well, last time it might have worked. Maybe last time you went, the path God wanted you to go, but today God wants you to go this way. But because the mind only thinks with the past, the ego mind, we're using old information. No, I did it this way. Amazing, isn't it? Fascinating. So sentence number 3 in paragraph 2. Try to hear God's voice call to you lovingly, reminding you that your Creator has not forgotten His son, His daughter. Try to hear God's voice call to you lovingly, reminding you that your Creator has not forgotten you. Paragraph 3. We will need at least 4 5-minute practice periods today, and more if possible. Hey, why not give yourself the opportunity to listen to God's still voice more? Sentence 2. We will try actually to hear God's voice reminding you of Him and of yourself, capital S, self. We will try actually to hear God's voice reminding you of itself and of who you are. We will approach this happiest and holiest of thoughts with confidence, knowing that in doing so, we are joining our will with the will of God. God, tell me what it is that I need to know right here. Boom. I'm going to listen to you, God. Isn't that, it doesn't get any better than that. God, I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to join with you right now. Such a simple decision. Sentence number 4, he wants you to hear his voice. He gave it to you to be heard. God wants us to hear God. Because at the end of the day, it's us speaking to us, giving us guidance to make life fun and easy. Give us a path of least resistance. Actually, the path of no resistance. Because God goes before us to prepare the way. Oh my gosh, isn't this beautiful? Paragraph 4, listen in deep silence. Be very still and open your mind. Go past all the ruckus shrieks and sick imaginings that cover your real thoughts and obscure your eternal link with God. Again, let the ego thoughts go. Let the fears go. Don't pay attention to them. Say to those voices, today I made an appointment to listen to God. Today, I am not going to listen to this nonsense because I want to hear the voice for peace. I'm serious. Be determined. Just as you decide, I'm not going to wear that outfit because it doesn't look good on me, decide. I'm going to listen to the voice for peace, for certainty, that gives me confidence, that allows me to move to the path that I am meant to be moving on. Make that choice. And then watch your world change. Sentence number 4, sink deep into the peace that waits for you beyond the frantic, riotous thoughts and sights and sounds of this insane world. Unplug from the television, the news. Don't read the newspaper. Stop that. Your good is not out there. Your good is in here. Your job is to hear it and then bring it out, project it out. But looking for the latest shooting or the latest mugging or the latest problem or the latest crash in the market, the latest thing out there, the latest whatever's going to come to you. Don't look for it out there. It's not there. It's a distraction. All your good is inside of you. And it's a voice. It's a knowingness. It's a certainty, but it comes only in stillness. You can't be thinking it's out there and feel it in here. You got to quiet everything down. Meditation is powerful, and you swim below the noise, and then you feel God in the stillness. In the stillness, God speaks to us. Sentence number 5, paragraph 4. You do not live here in this world. That's not where we're living. We are trying to reach your real home. We are trying to reach the place where you are truly welcome. We are trying to reach God. We live in God. We don't live in the world. We live in God. We live in a world that's in God. So if we feel God, then this world begins to change because we are not going to be giving it power to continue to activate more fears. We're going to begin to give it love. We're going to begin to give it the peace that's inside of us. We're going to stop condemning it. We're going to stop blaming it. We're going to take all those things away. Pull the tentacles of the ego off of the world. So the world will have the meaning that God gave it. But that cannot happen until I decide to take off the meaning I'm giving it through my small mind, always fearful and anxious. Paragraph 5. Do not forget to repeat today's idea very frequently. Do so with your eyes open when necessary, but closed when possible. God's voice speaks to me throughout the day. God's voice speaks to me throughout the day to know that I've got that source tapping, that I can tap into it at any time I want to. Wow, isn't that amazing? All the time there. Sentence number 3, paragraph 5. And be sure to sit quietly and repeat the idea for today whenever you can, closing your eyes on the world and realizing that you are inviting God's voice to speak to you. That's right. When you make the decision to hear God, you are inviting God's voice to speak to you. Ask and it will be given. Why? Because it's always talking. You're asking God to speak to you is really you stopping listening to the ego. That's all that it is. See how simple this is? I know it's not easy, but it is simple. And you gotta let yourself believe that it is simple, because how else are you gonna make it so? Let me read this one more time. realize that you are inviting God's voice to speak to you. How powerful is that? As always, thanks a lot for doing these lessons with me, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a magnificent day.